The stage is set. The bright lights are on. Welcome along to Obviously Fight Talk episode 68. One away from Doran's favourite, and I'm joined by Mr. Robert Palin.
Same joke 2 weeks. No shame.
Fuck it. When after 69, it's gone, isn't it?
It's going to be three. Yeah, it's going to be three. The same joke for 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Just updated.
Big shout out as always to Fight Star Ireland, the fighter's choice, everything you need under one roof, and the MMA Mix, everything you need for all your MMA needs. They're obviously good because they're with obviously Fight Talk. Here in the home of obviously Fight Talk, we've been struck by North Korean dictator terrorism with the Wi-Fi land. Unfortunately, we're on the backup system, the hotspot. So, you know, if things crackle, don't blame us, blame the Koreans. Yeah. But if you're watching on YouTube, subscribe, share it everywhere. Share it on Facebook, Twitter. Do it. It helps us grow. Word of mouth, that's what gets it around. This week, we're going to be joined. Welcome back to Mr. Johnny Jitzu. Where Brendan Dorman, he must have liked us.
Yeah.
He's back again. We're going to be speaking to BAMMA's Lonsdale champion, Mr. Tim Barnett, making his second appearance on OFT. And we will be joined by the Joker, Phil Campbell. We're going to talk all things Clan Wars 28. Let's start where we don't always start. Like it. And let's get on with Johnny Jitzu. Just getting on with Johnny Jitzu. Who's the fuck?
Johnny Jitzu here, just getting on for obviously Fight Talk. Glad to be back, lads. How are you?
Good, man.
All right?
Johnny, you were missed. It wasn't the same without you. And every person that I talked to about the show going, where's Johnny Jitzu? Where's Johnny Jitzu? But come here, you have a bit of news for us this week.
I've a bit of news. I have my opponent. Very happy with the matchup. His name is Alex Mean Montegiani. Guy fighting now in London. He's got a record now of 8-2. Tough guy, well-rounded. Really looking forward to the fight.
That's a nice one, 8-2. Nice name to say as well. Buddy
Mouthful.
Johnson will enjoy that one. What's the plan, Johnny, coming into it? You're looking forward to getting back in there under the big lights of the Three Arena?
Just looking forward to getting back in and just showing me hard work that, since the last time you have seen me in my last outing, like I've improved twofold. I can't wait to get in there and show the improvements and just go for it, man. Look for that highlight reel finish. That's what I'm going in there to do, man.
How long have you known this for?
Anywhere in the cage, but believe me, the finish is on my mind and I will be seeking it out.
How long have you known this for, Johnny? Because we were talking the last couple of times you were on, seeing if you had an opponent. Have you known for a little bit of time, or is it?
Oh, no, well, I've known since sort of last week. I had a bit of a bad week last week. A friend of mine passed, God rest his soul. So just kind of wasn't getting too vocal about it. But, now it's time to put the head down now and go after it. There should be a poster and stuff up this week and all that kind of jargon to go with it. But listen, there's no thrills or spills about this fight. It's two guys who like to knuckle down and fight hard. So I'm really looking forward to this fight. Can't wait to get this win, We're
looking forward to BAMMA 30 as well on the return, and they're certainly pulling out some big names, Johnny. Now you're on the card. We've also Miles Price taking on Phil Mulpeter as well. We've Rob Sinclair taking on your fellow teammate Paul Redmond as well. It's a stacked card. BAMMA again, not disappointing when they're returning to Dublin.
No, not disappointing. I believe we have a young Patrick Wicks as well against Paul Hughes. That's an absolutely super fight.
That's it. Paul. I know Paul's injured himself.
Yeah. He's injured.
He's out of that fight.
Yeah,
we were sick as well.
Right. I didn't know that now.
Yeah, shame.
One thing I want to hit with you before we let you go to training, Johnny. Again, we do appreciate it. We know you're on the way out the door. I've been watching Neil Seary on Instagram.
I haven't, mate. I haven't been, mate. I've actually been off the social media the last couple of weeks. I've been on and off it, so I haven't seen Neil on the Instagram now.
Neil was basically telling Artem Lobov that he shouldn't be called a Russian Hammer anymore because he hasn't fucking knocked anyone out in fucking years, and that he left Russia just so he could come to Ireland to get 188 on the door.
Yeah,
the man needs his own TV show. So Johnny, what is the crack with it? I know obviously you have your own club there, but predominantly the camp's going to be done in Team Rhino, I presume.
Camp's going to be done in Team Rhino. That's where I'm actually heading now. Like we're 6 weeks out, so the next 5 weeks here, like I've been just sort of cruising in the gym and being real technical, like say the last few weeks. Obviously keeping an eye on the condition and stuff like that. But now for the next 5 weeks, it's going to be hardcore up in the gym and Team Rhino. A lot of top fighters up there now, you know, and it's really going to be a top training camp for this fight. Really looking forward to it, you know.
That's one thing you notice when you look at any card here on these shores, is that it's always full of Team Rhino fighters, and that'll just show you just how big of a club Team Rhino is, and the quality of fighters is producing with Paul Redmond. At the moment, looks like is the headline and act on the show, and rightfully so. Johnny, we look forward to speaking to you in the lead up, following, maybe get you to make a little vlog for us as well, just with training. Get in there and break some skulls this evening. And definitely check out Siri on Instagram. It's just pure gold.
I will do, mate. I'm going to check that out ASAP.
Listen, Johnny, thanks a million. Talk to you later, me man.
Who's the fuck?
Who's the fuck? Johnny Jitzu back in air lives. It's good to hear from Johnny. Well, let's not time delay here, Rob. Because of the Korean dictators, terrorism on the internet, we're pushed for time, and we are pushing to get on the returning Brendan Dorman. If you haven't watched it already, folks, check it out now. He has a breakdown, the way Brendan does his breakdown of Rory MacDonald. It is certainly worth a watch. All his breakdowns are worth a watch. So while I'm doing this, Rob is multitasking and dialing up. But we got great feedback on last week's show with Brendan. So we're delighted when Brendan said he'd like to become a regular part of the show with us too. Just his fight insight is phenomenal. So yeah, here we are with Brendan Dorman. So welcome back to obviously Fight Talk, and if you're watching on YouTube you can see, and if you're listening to audio you will now know, because I'm about to tell you. We are joined again, making his return, Mr. Brendan Dorman. So Brendan, thanks again for taking the time to come on to obviously Fight Talk, me man.
Thanks guys, had a great time last time. Let's do it again.
Excellent.
Good fights went down the weekend. A lot of people were interested to see. A lot of people were criticising, say he's not the same since Robbie Lawler, man. Rory MacDonald made his Bellator debut, and he did it in style, defeating Paul Semtex Daley in the second round. What did you think of the fight, and what did you think of Rory's performance, Brandon?
Well, what more can you say but like brilliant, perfect? He won all elements of that fight. So he was winning everywhere as far as I'm concerned. I think if it was a kickboxing match, he would have won. Clearly he used his grappling, which is smart fighting, something, you know, people get criticized, which is pretty close to insanity as far as I'm concerned. Semtex is a dangerous dude, man. He's got like backpedaling power. I forget who that was against. Not KJ. What the hell's the guy's name? I forget. He had a fight, whatever, a couple years back where he was kind of, a guy was chasing him down. He just hit him with like a left hook while he's fading back. I don't remember the guy's name. Yeah, forgive me, but he's got that kind of power. Great striker. I think Nick Diaz might have outstruck him, perhaps.
That was a wild
fight.
Other
than that,
it was a wild fight.
He wins the standing wars for the most part.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Rory right away made a read on him. What I love about Rory is, I mean, it's a millionfold. What's not to love, right? He's got this mystique thing going on, you know? And right away, and I pointed some of this out in the breakdown, but I'll do it a little more justice. When he comes out, if you notice with him, he's always in a position where, this was part of GSP's great success too, you really can't make a good read on what he may do or may not do. Because his hands are pronated. Like, he doesn't, let me be more at the camera. He doesn't have his hands in tucked. Yeah. He keeps them out. Like, I call it like keeping your hands out like and I don't want it to sound like Kung Fu because I'm not a proponent, but like mantis, like a praying mantis. Like, his hands are out. Yeah. So this way, if someone's throwing a high strike, he elbow blocks really well. So if someone's coming up with anything, all you have to do is pronate your arm out rather than out. You know what I mean? So everything's kind of here, and he's messing with it. And the way that he changes levels, he'll pop up into his jab, and his shot in that fight was more single legs, but his shots are so perfect. But they, to the person sparring him or fighting him in this case, it looks exactly the same. You know?
Yeah. That's you can
so
tell.
I think there was success there.
Sorry, go ahead. I'm talking across. Apologies. Go ahead.
So Daley started off with kind of just like a fake jab. I don't think he was trying to put heat on it. Rory immediately parries that double jab, and I believe on the fly throws that overhand right, which is just perfect, you know?
Something that I noticed as well, and you mentioned it in your breakdown as well, the way Rory was throwing the jab.
Is my thing freezing up?
No, not really. No. The way Rory, when he was throwing the jab, he was sort of sitting into it, and he was disguising it that he was doing the same thing. Look, when he was looking for the single leg takedown, that Daley didn't know if he was going to jab or if he was going to go for the takedown, and he'd go in for the single, as you said.
Yeah. I think you might have. I lost you for a second here. There seems to be like a delay. Anyway, so there was that. Daley kind of threw. It was like we call it like there's rangefinders, kind of the most common way to put it, but sometimes you're jabbing just to find your range. Makes sense, right? It's pretty straightforward. Yeah. So I don't think he had any intention on hurting him with that, but Rory took total advantage. Parry, double jab, and I think that overhand right that he throws like, it's not a winged punch, it's more of a controlled overhand four. He threw that, I think, on the fly because he's that good, to be honest, because it was there. And then if you notice when he came off, he was doing the same thing where he was doing the torso movement as Daley came forward, and he looked like he was going to be like shying away, and then he explodes forward for the takedown. I don't think Daley saw that coming, and he was fresh. And if you notice with him, he has really good balance. He fended off well, but where he was in deep head inside, it was just technically perfect, and it was like he's going to get him down. And I think what we saw there that we have, for me, was kind of a reminder of how fucking good Rory is when he got him down, he is so good on the ground. Yeah. Daley has good jiu-jitsu from what I could see there. I mean, relatively speaking, right? Like, he didn't look like a white belt. It wasn't a CM Punk thing on the ground. Yeah. I mean, he was using butterflies to close the guard, try to get separation, keep the head down, overhooks, all the right things. But Rory's a legit black belt. And one thing, again, I said in the breakdown, but there's some things you just can't totally explain. Rory doesn't train in a gi. Yeah. Ever. He's a black belt. Noteworthy, right? Because most people think of that as like 10th planet only. Yeah. Like to get a black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, minus through Eddie Bravo, usually you got to put on a gi. Maybe he does, but as far as everything I've heard and everything I've seen, he doesn't. So you saw that black belt, I guess is the point. And that's where the real differential in technique started coming in, especially the second time he got him down. Whew. Yeah. I think the head kick got him pretty well, lumped, because there's a trick, and I gave a hat tip to Phil Nurse, because there's something that he teaches, like GSP did it against Matt Hughes in their second fight, where you'll kick low once, or you don't even have to do it the first time, but when you low kick, you tend to kind of hold your hands a certain way. Like this is the the waving motion. I should be more this way, like this, and you look down, right? So as he did that kind of technique, and he's looking down, he comes up over the top. And that's where the head kick got him, because you notice Daley was going to throw a 2 as a counter, which is what you do to a low kick, you know? He's not a bad striker. I think Rory's just better everywhere, honestly. Yeah. And you don't want to piss those guys like him off. Yeah. I think Daley called him a quitter, right?
I was very surprised as well, Brendan. But people are going, he didn't stand and trade with him, or he didn't do. Like, it's a mixed martial arts fight. If I'm better than you in this aspect of the game, why would I try to do what people consider you better than me at in the game? But I honestly think, in a way, it's something we're obviously going to touch on a little bit about crossover fighters and stuff. Are the UFC brass looking at this going, shit, we let the wrong guy go here?
They should be. Yeah. Yeah. Robbie Lawler's anomalous to me. It's like he got by on a lot of chin, a lot of heart. He's super entertaining to watch. I don't have any affiliation with, I don't know him at all, so I can be a little more candid than I am with certain people. But anomalous in the fact that none of his striking's flashy. It's very good. He's very powerful. It's his chin that kind of got him there, and did kind of to the point we went on last time with the chin wearing, right? Yeah. We kind of went pretty deep in that rabbit hole, but the point being is that who knows with those Hendricks fights and blah, blah, blah fights, if Woodley benefited from being at the tail end of that, Tyron picks his spots, man, in fights, who he's going to fight. Yeah. And, he's coached by Duke and ATT guys that I all like. Tyron seems like a likable guy. I don't know him either, but picking his spots. And that's the chinny thing. So I think when you take all that into account about Robbie, he was the only kryptonite for Rory, really, because the Condit loss was you could argue was flukish in a way, right? I mean, it's a loss, of course, right? He lost the fight, but he was winning the fight. Yeah. And he lost with, I think, 20 seconds left, all fired up, trying to, whatever, get the crowd going. I think he's even said that or said something similar to that about that fight. But when you see him against Nate Diaz, or I remember when he fought Mike Pyle, I think maybe Rogan, someone I was talking to, talking about Mike Pyle and him I think it was Mike Pyle, right? Was he the mullet guy?
Yeah, Mike Pyle.
He was a veteran. Yeah. When he fought him, it was like, Jesus. Like, it was similar to Daley in the fact that when it got to the ground, there's just this animalistic thing going on. And I think the thing with styles make fights and Robbie and all that, that's it. I mean, what else can you point to with Rory? Yeah. He beat Maya. He beat Woodley. Right? Yeah. I mean, it's just it seems like a stylistic thing. I don't know. And to call him a quitter or whatever people were saying about that after his face was smashed or his nose smashed into his face, I mean, clearly you need to be punched in the face at least once in your life, so you know. But
Paul Daley was saying he quit. Paul Daley leading up to this fight was saying he quit. And this fight against Robbie Lawler is broken because he quit. And I think in a way, I don't know how much it plays into Rory MacDonald when he's thinking about it, but in a way I think Rory MacDonald wanted to punish Paul Daley. He did mention it. He wants to show him that he doesn't belong in the ring cage octagon with MacDonald. And he really showed that. When I went on Twitter after the fight, as only Twitter does, the glorious planet and life that is Twitter, there was just a meme of a block of butter and a hot knife going straight through it, and it said, just finished watching the MacDonald-Daley fight. And I thought it was the perfect thing, because for me, two things watching the fight is, two, get different shorts next time, Rory. They were terrible to be wearing in an MMA fight.
Oh yeah, it's fuck, I haven't caught in them. Yeah.
Number two, the UFC have got to be looking at this and going, man, why do we let this guy go? Because he has, in the age now, as number one, the presser last week showed, and even the retreat this week showed, fighters fall into this sense that they all have to talk trash and be. But with MacDonald, he's got this mystique about him. He's got this aura. And like I interviewed Rory when he was over in Belfast with Bellator, and he's got that when you're just stood talking to him. Forget even when the camera's off. Just when you're stood in his presence, he's got this creepy aura about him. But he's real. He's so polite and so manly. But this guy, he's like a Terminator sent back from the future. To teach the guys of MMA, and he is the original guy that everyone said he's the new age mixed martial artist. This is the guy who didn't train jiu-jitsu. He's trained mixed martial arts.
That was actually something that you brought up in your breakdown. You were talking about Rory being a true, well-rounded fighter, and we kind of throw that around a lot. We say, oh, this guy is really well-rounded, but we don't talk about where they're well-rounded. Like, one thing that you picked out in the grappling, which I thought was a very good point, was how he was passing. He wasn't just passing with straight jiu-jitsu, he was passing with punches and strikes. I think you should talk a little bit about that, because I was very interested in your analysis about that. I thought that was a really good point.
I love when you guys throw me curveballs so people know that I'm improvising these answers. I'm serious. So, because, if it's scripted, it's, I don't know. I don't like scripted shit.
No.
So,
you're on the right show.
There's a huge difference between MMA jiu-jitsu and gi jiu-jitsu especially. And I, at the risk of not pissing anybody off, I think when people hear things like, because I've heard it, wearing a gi will help your MMA. Playing gi jiu-jitsu or whatever you want to put on that as nomenclature, right? How? You can train in a gi. That's awesome. Train in a gi all the time. Great. It's going to help your MMA. You got to explain to me why. You can't just say that. I don't give anyone a pass on a statement like that. Like, you gotta tell me why.
Yeah.
Because you're losing everything. Every grip, most positions are completely different. Just know, we could go gi to no gi and talk about how much different those two things are, right?
Yeah.
So now if we make another leap to MMA now, where, as you mentioned, we have striking. When someone's trying to elbow you in the face, some of your sweeps and stuff they're null or void or whatever, both. Yeah. It changes the game entirely. And I think with Rory, you see, and it's George too, and it's honestly, it's for us, and you can go back to Danaher, and then you can go back to Enzo. There's a lineage there to the people that fight like that. They all are very well aware of the difference, and I wish more schools were aware of that. It's okay to, I mean, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is amazing. I think it's the best pure self-defense martial art as a whole, you know, a traditional martial art, if it is one. Yes, of course it is. Yeah. So in that sense, I love Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, but what I don't like is people trying to make money off of myths, if that makes sense. Yeah. You know, so there's that. And I don't mean to be negative, Nancy, so I'll be positive about my final conclusion. Is that he is a black belt in jiu-jitsu, but he, more importantly, is a black belt in jiu-jitsu for MMA. They are different, and I think it's a different. It's not just that they're different. It's an important distinction people should make, especially anyone watching this that's 20 or 19 and going, I don't know if I should change gyms. TJ Dillashaw's a snake, and here's an emoji, all the lame shit, right? Like they're just getting bad advice. Go where you want to go. Go where you're comfortable. They just I've seen the bad end of that too many times. The good end of it is Rory personifies just brilliant everywhere. Mixing it up. George was the same. It's punching to pass, knee slide passes, high pressure. He doesn't put himself in risk, really. He nullified Maya. What does that say, right?
Yeah. 2 points. Robin Black just done an interview with Duke Rufus, and he was speaking about when he strikes, or when he's teaching striking classes or they're sparring striking, he never does straight up striking. He always adds in grappling. He never does straight up striking because he doesn't want his students to have that false sense of security that the takedown's never there. So he always adds in some kind of grappling. So the takedown will always be there. They mightn't go full, like they won't stay on the ground for too long, but they'll always add that grappling, so there'll always be shots. Is that something that you think would be very useful for an MMA fighter, similar to, not using the gi as much, doing no gi, where you're always having some kind of grappling exchange in your striking sparring?
I'm so glad you brought Duke up, because I gave shout-outs to guys I don't even know, and Duke's a friend of mine, and I didn't bring him up when we brought up striking coaches last week. I felt like an asshole. So, Duke, love you. Sorry, I got you this week, buddy. I love that guy, so anything he says is golden, and I agree with that 1,000%. Do you have to do that? No. Is it smart? It's fucking brilliant, in fact. Yes. Even if the takedowns are just threatening, right? Even if you don't have to follow through on the takedowns, there's so many little drills. There's like so many ideas I've gotten from Duke, and the thing that we have in common that we talk about more than most is dynamics and cadence in an MMA striking context. Boxers know those too well. MMA striking, it's some people are still just 75%ing every punch and every strike, and they don't understand, or metronome punching. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, you know what I mean? Rather than 1, 2, 3. 4, 5. You got to have cadence disruption. It's very important. So, not to get too far off point, I think that's a fantastic idea, especially if you can train striking. Especially, I'd love to. I'd have to hear the interview to hear exactly what he said and what he meant, because I don't know if they're following through with the takedown and then it stays there, or there's a stand up. Because I think it'd be smart to let them stand up post takedown and go at it again to keep them honest, especially if you have, say, a guy that's closer in the UFC or on the cusp, like high level, and a guy that's maybe not there but trying to turn pro, and that guy's got to learn the look, how it's different when it's real time, right? Because if you train everything separately, when you get inside the cage and it closes, you're going to freak out. They're very different. Similar to the prior discussion, So I think that's a fantastic drill.
The one point I just want to reel it back just for a second there as well was the great example for me, what you were saying with MMA Jiu-Jitsu versus straight up Jiu-Jitsu, was Demetrius Johnson said, who doesn't want to go see a white belt tap out a black belt when he tapped out Wilson Rice? And that's the perfect example almost, that if that's BJJ in the gi, it's a different competition and it's a different thing. So essentially, yes, the idea is the same, but it's two sports essentially.
And how are you going to disagree with that guy?
Yeah. And he's getting a little mouthy as well now, isn't he? He's calling Ronda Rousey. He's telling Ronda Rousey to grow up and stuff.
Shit. I try not to. I honestly try not to. Yeah. Sometimes can't help it. I saw something with him and Ronda. I don't know the backstory, but I like that if it's his real personality, which I assume it is, I have no reason to believe it. DJ seems awesome. Matt Hume is awesome. He's one of the first high-level guys that I believe posted one of my breakdowns years ago.
Oh, very nice.
So he's forever in my good graces. Books, I love that guy. But I think he's brilliant anyway, even if not for giving me the rub. But DJ's the best martial artist that's ever walked on planet Earth. He's the best martial artist. I'll take that as far as it needs to go. Oh. Anyone that argues someone else, you're crazy.
Comment below.
Why does he not get the rub? Why does he not get, like, DJ is always on, like, Fox, or he doesn't do big pay-per-view numbers. What do you honestly think? Because we've talked about this a little bit, and I always say it's the size that people don't almost take it seriously. Is it honestly just that simple, or why does he not get this rub? Because the man is just... When you watch him, like, we were drooling at Joanna Jacek last week, and people just don't do it for DJ, and I don't understand why, because he's just a phenomenon.
I always try to be careful, because I talk to you guys as friends, and I don't want to say anything that's going to bite me in the ass. I think it's a couple fold. I think everything you said is correct. Let me say that first. Secondly, small guys tend to not knock people out, but he's finishing fights at 125.
Yeah.
So that argument becomes null. I think... In the case of, let's think of the most popular, right? We'll go from one extreme to another. And you know how I can easily judge it is by my breakdowns, right? How many people watch them?
Yeah.
When I do DJ, for example, like, they're my, like, proudest breakdowns always, and they don't get shit for views.
Yeah.
So that's telling, right? So even the fans, because the casuals don't want to watch my shit. They don't have time for that. They want to watch highlight videos set to their favorite Big E song or whatever they do. I want nothing to do with them either. I'm just kidding. So the point being, how do I want to say this? So if Conor is the most popular, clearly, right? And in boxing, this whole Floyd bullshit, whatever it is, if it's even going to happen, you have two popular guys, right? I think with Conor, you have a country behind him that no matter what he does, they're going to be behind him. You have some people that are rooting against him, but are going to tune in to root against him in the vein of Floyd, right? I think people wanted to see Floyd lose more than people tuned in to see him win in some regards, right? I think Conor has some of that. It's probably more like 75-25 in the positive direction or whatever you want to call it. With DJ, there's never been any trouble. There's no controversy. He's happily married and he plays video games. He's just a likable dude. He's like your buddy that you call over to, come have a beer with. There's no... We talked about mystique with Rory, right? Which is, by the way, real. DJ's being real. I don't know if he's holding back a little bit on his personality, but I don't think so. I think he's just a straight-up dude and content whooping ass. And that's his joy, is fighting. That's it. Not so much accolades and suits and bullshit.
He almost needs that rival to drag it out of him as well. The way now we have DC John Jones, he just needs that big rival that there's a story behind of it. Exactly.
Here's the quasi-risque thing I was going to say. I'll just say it. Because you brought up DC, right? So we have DC, we have Mighty Mouse, right? You have two champions. They have something in common, which is that they are, by some fans, called they're catering to the white audience. I've seen that said. I'm just quoting somebody else. I think that's ridiculous horse shit, but it's a sentiment nonetheless. Again, like I said last week, if you're not honest in your discourse, don't have discourse. I see that meme thread trolling constantly, right? And it's ridiculous, but it's real. So who knows, man? Because it's like, let's think of a guy that's not anywhere near DJ that's popular. Okay, here's a good example, and I don't dislike this person. Nate Diaz. How popular is that guy?
Very popular.
Okay, I'll give you an example. I thought my breakdown on DJ had much more content. It was a better breakdown than my Nate Diaz breakdown. One did 250,000 views. One did 25,000. I think you can guess which is which, right?
Yeah.
Who's better? That's not even.
Yeah.
Is that even a debate? I mean, that's absurd, right?
Yeah, but
So,
like Nate does that and shit, you know, and go, you know, 209 motherfucker and stuff. So people, you know, the casual, as you said,
motherfuckers.
yeah, the casuals love that shit. So do I, in fairness.
Yeah, that's my point. Is it's, you know, at the risk of, you know, saying it's cultural, it's because I don't like broad brushing shit. I'd rather be specific in what I'm trying to say. It's like, you guys have a YouTube channel. Some of the shit people post about, like, I'll beat you up, and really, I know, with your SpongeBob avatar that you created yesterday, and you're obviously wicked tough. But that's sentiment, and it's absurd on a lot of levels, because most of them probably never even sparred in any capacity. But Nate Diaz is controversial, let's just face it, right? Whether it's weed, whether it's what he says, whether it's I don't give a fuck about belts. Beating Conor certainly has stuck his risen, you know, whatever the result of that was. But he was always popular, right?
Yeah.
So I think some people like that. I mean, what shows are popular? It's not, you know, just some fucking family on the couch watching TV eating snacks. Yeah. No one wants to watch that shit. So the true purists like us, we're all purists in some sense, in that we love technique and talking about the differences and the nuances of this pass versus. We're in that way we're MMA nerds in some regards, right? Yeah. So we care. I'd much rather watch a DJ fight than probably anyone at this point, right? Not sure the casual, which is probably the majority of the audience, looks at it that way, and I think it's that. I think, you know, there's some cultural misappropriations and all that bullshit, but at the end of the day, he's just a kind of normal guy.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. I honestly think that we've said this as well previously, Rob. I think when it's all said and done and he's finished, that's when people will go, holy shit, I think it's time for Cormier.
I think it's time for Cormier. I don't think he gets the credit he deserves. I think it's going to be after, when he retires, people are going, holy shit, he beat a lot of people and done a lot of things.
Yeah. 100%.
Not only beat them convincingly. I can't wait to see him and Jones again for a lot of reasons. I think Cormier's accusation of late, I think you probably heard it. Kind of accused John of being a certain way his whole career.
Oh yeah.
I think that's accurate. Yeah. If I had to guess.
Yeah, probably. Based on
the
evidence.
I don't want to reveal too much that I might or might not know about that guy. He's certainly not the guy that should have Bible verses on his chest. I mean,
well, that's Rashad Evans from back in the day. He said early doors, you're not the guy.
And everyone thought Rashad was just being he's the guy now. And no, that doesn't turn out to be that way. Yeah. Looks like Evans.
Yeah, and if you knew Rashad, I only know him through the same people. We have the same friends, kind of thing. So I know him a little bit. Rashad is one of the nicest people you'll ever meet. B, like, he's a helping hand of a guy, if that makes sense. He's very selfless in that regard, and he's honest, man. He's super honest. That guy is not. When was he ever full of shit about anything? That guy's been a pretty straight up dude. But John was young and upcoming and sellable and marketable. He's like this good looking young new champ and all blah 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 blah. Right? So. It's fun. It's amazing what you can do with promos to create bad guys, right? And in retrospect, now we look at Rashad like this prince of a nice guy, and John's kind of flipped that role. Like that's a really good bring up. I never really thought about it till right now, but he was right.
Oh,
yeah. John is certainly not what he was sold as 5 years ago.
Yeah, but I say embrace the heel, you know? Yeah. I honestly say if John Jones went, fucking I do coke and fucking I done this and I do this and I do this, obviously you aren't going to be too happy the guy's testing him, but like I think he'll make himself more appealable.
I think that's happening though. Yeah. There's a lot of people are getting behind John Jones right now.
Yeah, I'm looking for it. It's one fight I'm really looking forward to it.
Embrace it. Yeah. You know, be yourself. What people hate the very most, I think, and you guys alluded to this for sure before, is whether or not someone is being themselves. Yeah. Right? People will be like, everyone's trying to be like Conor. It's like, well, kind of. It's not just Conor though. This is an age-old thing. It was. Yeah. In my lifetime, I can go back to Tyson with it. You know. Yeah. It's not just Conor. It's the people that are controversial sell tickets. It's not. Vince McMahon knows this shit better than anyone. That's why he tried to buy the company, allegedly.
Controversy creates cash. Just another example, kind of a YouTube thing. After the Bellator card, when Michael Venom Page and Paul Daley got into that little scuffle, we done.
I didn't see it. I heard it. Did they actually like?
No,
hit
it
each
was,
other?
they didn't get
it
near
was yeah, it was barely anything. They kind of just went towards each other and got pulled apart. But basically, my point is that our video that we had with Michael Venom Page, the scrum from one of the Bellator's back, just blew up. Just out of nowhere. People just want to see just random videos on Michael Venom Page, just literally right after that happened. People love controversy.
His breakdowns do awesome, and he's not even fighting in the UFC.
Yeah, I know.
Like on my channel. So another good example, right?
Yeah.
There's a guy, I'm obviously Irish American. He's obviously from the UK.
Yeah.
So I don't have any connection to that guy. I mean, we've talked on social media. He's super nice to me.
Yeah.
Like the guy.
He was a cool guy. We were chatting. He was a cool guy.
He's a little different, but I get what you're saying.
Yeah. Brent, what we're going to do is we're going to...
He's not orthodox or whatever, right?
Yeah. You know, he's striking is weird. It's a weird style he has, but it works, does it? He's like an English Anderson Silva. Anyway, Brent, what I'm going to do is we're going to wrap it here, and then I'm going to put something to you, so we'll see there. Just because we're pushing for time, we have the BAMMA lightweight champion on just after you here as well, and then we've Phil Campbell coming on, talked about a regional show, Clan Wars here. So we're going to wrap and say thank you for joining us, but I'm going to say something to you, see if you agree with it or not. So thanks again for joining us this week. As always, a pleasure just getting inside that brain of yours.
Always. We'll do it again next time.
Yeah. Cool. Cheers, me man. So welcome back to obviously Fight Talk. Again, as I always say, if you're watching on YouTube, you know because you can see him, but if you're listening, you're going to know now. We are joined by the BAMMA lightweight champion, Tim Barnett, making his second appearance on obviously Fight Talk. Tim, thanks a million again for taking the time to come on.
Thanks for having me. It's good to speak to my Irish amigos.
Tim, things have changed in a way now. It's just something I thought was quite funny. When you fought and defended your belt for the first time against Mario Zahid there at BAMMA 29 in Birmingham, people were calling for your next opponent straight away. On the broadcast, John Kavanagh had said that you were due to face Richie Smullen. You quickly on social media put that down. But just the question, I suppose we can get to that in a bit, but the question is, have you noticed, since it says champion before your name now, have you noticed a target as starting to appear more so in your back?
A target on my back, did you say?
Yeah.
Well, hopefully, yeah. I mean, I want to fight the best. That's why I'm in the sport, you know what I mean? So if more people come forward of better quality and want to fight me, then that's great. I mean, I don't know if it's every fighter, but certainly myself, I've always dreamed in my head of that one fight where I'm really going to have to dig deep. It's like deep within myself to find out what I've got, you know what I mean? And even in my amateur career, the latest we went was 2 rounds, so I'd prefer that fight where I'm cut and I'm covered in blood, but I've got to come back, dig deep and see what I'm made of, you know what I mean? This isn't about my opponents ever. It's always about what I can do and what I can improve on as a person.
Did you think that was going to happen with Mario? Because the first round, he obviously was trying to get his grappling going, and you withstanded that, and then you got the finish. Did you think it was going to be a bit longer, or did they go exactly as you expected?
You know what? I tried my hardest not to have an expectation of the fight, to be honest. I just wanted to flow. I mean, a big key to my success and something that I hold not only over other fighters, but also over the world in general, is that I am fully aware of the present moments at probably 80% of my days now. I've been doing a lot of philosophical reading, in particularly Eckhart Tolle, and he teaches you how to live in the present moment, not only in fighting but in life. And life becomes a lot more peaceful. You become a lot more aware of your energy and how to use it and where to use it and when not to waste it. And because I have that, the fighter standing opposite me will be looking over thinking, in Mario's case, let's talk about that, he's looking at me thinking, shit, I have to take this man down. Therefore, he is living in the future, which is causing panic within him. Whereas I'm not even in a fight until the punches are coming or until the ref has waved us on. Before then, I'm taking in the feeling of the canvas, I'm taking in the smells, I'm taking in the sights, I'm trying to pick him apart psychologically, I'm trying to interpret every single piece of his body language, and pretty much 100% of the fights that I've had, I can smell and spot fear.
So would you agree with the sentiment from a lot of people to say that the fight game is very mental? It's the physical isn't as much as the mental game?
Well, it's both as even as each other. I train 100% the best I can physically, and I train 100% the best I can mentally. And it's the people who are putting the extra curricular activities in outside of just going to the gym who do the best. And I put plenty of those in, believe me.
With Mario, as you said, he felt he had to take you down, and that's something he certainly tried and tried. He did get you down, but you stayed relatively calm in it. So again, that's something you're saying you live in the moment. So when that takedown came, you're relaxed, you're composed, you're dealing with what's happening while you're more reacting to the fight than game planning. So you don't have a plan A, for example, or a plan B. So when they're not working, you don't think, shit, I'm going to have to change to plan C here. You're just rolling with the fight, essentially.
Exactly like Bruce Lee said, be like water and just flow. And that's true, and some of the old philosophical martial artists, whilst I didn't take much interest in them to get into the sport, I'm definitely now going much more along that path, learning about kind of how to apply the lessons I'm learning in martial arts to my life to make it go better.
Just to bring up in the broadcast, when Coach Kavanagh did mention Richie Smullen, he obviously then said, you know, it's the title fight, it's probably going to happen in Dublin. Was there any truth in that? Was that a rumour, or was that just almost John Kavanagh just using the power of broadcast at that time maybe to put pressure on that fight happening?
No, I had heard about the Smullen fight before the Saeed fight, to be honest, and again, maybe looking forward a little bit stupidly. But again, you can apply it to the Saeed fight, so not a waste of time at all. But we did drill quite a lot of heel hook defence and spend quite a bit of time in 50-50. And then, just because that fight was on the border, I mean, I've watched it back, just the words of John Kavanagh saying, Tim, like, he's got too much for Tim. And every time he says that, I feel a fire light within inside me, and I feel the need to prove this man wrong. So I absolutely 100% hope that fight happens in September. That is a fight where fear will really creep inside me, and I'll have to fight with everything I've got to keep it away before the fight. I mean, I've got 100% love for my body. I love movement. I love going out every day and using it, and I appreciate it. So a man that can potentially tear the ligaments in your knee, causing you problems for a long time, is a daunting fight to go into, you know what I mean? So if I can overcome the fears and again be present in that cage when the moment's going down, then I will overcome so much as a fighter and as a person that it will help me grow more than a fight with someone who hasn't got that threat would.
What are your thoughts on John? Because if the fight wasn't actually confirmed, what are your thoughts on John actually coming out and saying that the fight is going to happen, it's going to get done?
I mean, he's just doing what he needs to do to try and make sure the fight does happen, so that's fine. I knew it was talked about, so I had definitely given thought to the moment happening. So whether because I added energy to that thought, it's gone forward and happened, who knows? But again, I do hope the Smullen fight happens, definitely. I mean, September, I'm looking to get out. I had 3 fights in 3 months, so it was a lot of wear and tear on the body. And if you want to kind of get anywhere, not just in the sport, but in life, you have to apply balance to things. Balance not only in kind of, and this is what a lot of fighters get wrong, they forget to rest because this sport has so many aspects to learn. They think that if they're getting in double sessions every single day that they're getting the most out of it. But if we actually study the way that the brain and the body learn through the neurological pathways and through pattern setting, it learns best with rest in between. So, for example, if a guy's getting in for 7-8 sessions a week at 40% and I'm getting in 4 sessions a week at 100% or 5 sessions a week, then my percentage of quality is going to be much more than his.
Obviously BAMMA's returning to Irish soil here in July. Will he be here as a guest? I'd imagine so, because I know Richie, I think, is scheduled to fight.
I would like BAMMA to try and get me out there, maybe. Yeah, it would be good to experience it all and go in the ring. And again, it's just another experience in life that I crave. I'm a man after every experience possible now. I'm a man who's connected to the now, so I don't ever waste my time. I'm reading, I'm researching, I'm living life to the full, and I really love it every day.
How are you finding walking around the local area now? Do you notice you're getting more kids looking and stopping and going, that's Tim Barnett?
To be honest, not really. I don't think it is as big here as it is over there. I did get recognised twice in Liverpool, which was nice. I went over and said hello to the guys, you know what I mean? But again, it's not about that for me at all. I couldn't care less whether a Geordie Shore guy fought on the show. I couldn't care less whether people know who I am. I'm doing this as a personal test, as a personal growth. I mean, I was working in the bookies actually as a cashier, and I was an absolute shell of the man I am today. I couldn't say boo to a goose. I was scared to stand up for myself. I let authority unnecessarily walk all over me. But something drew me every day to chasing this dream of fighting. I would go out on my hour lunch break to go boxing, and I would go back to work sweaty and sacrifice food and stuff for the rest of the night, and eventually that hard work is rewarded, and that's kind of what's happening now. That's with the McKee fight, it was just like a gift, and then I took that, made the most of it, and since then it's got better. And you know, who wouldn't want to fight on these arena shows with nice kind of matting and good staff and all this type of stuff? And not to say the smaller shows haven't, but it's got a much different feel to it, which makes me feel better.
You started the year obviously with that Reese fight, and you won the title. That was in February, I believe. Next February, a year later after, where do you see yourself, or where do you hope to see yourself next year?
By the end of next year, I'd like to have the UFC contract. I think if I can stop 3 or 4 more people in the first round impressively, and hopefully knock a couple more out as well. I think if I can do that, then people maybe will start opening their eyes. And I'm also kind of using my social media now as a bit more of a powerful tool. I mean, it's new to me. I always kind of, like everyone else, use social media for ego. So if a thought crept into my head and then I attached an emotion to that thought, I'd have to go and vent it on social media for people to read and not really care about, to be honest. But I'm using Facebook less and less now, and I'm trying to use Instagram a lot more to show people what life can be like, and to give quotes to people, and aiming to inspire or just even spark a thought to put goodness into this world. I really care about this planet. I've got a genuine care for the health of the people of the planet and the human race, and I believe that with things going the way they are in the world, if I can get to a platform with enough eyes on me and start spreading these messages of positivity, that I can make the world a better place. So my mission is bigger than fighting itself now, and I believe that mission will pull me forward to the good places.
The owner of the belt before Reese, who vacated it, was Mark Diakese, and now Mark is where you said you want to see yourself. He won the title. He defended it. His last fight was against Kane Musa. I know a fight with Kane Musa has been tipped as well down the line for you, and he's now 3 fights into UFC. So you know the pathway is there. What this BAMMA belt holds, it shows where it can deliver to. And again, with your mindset, it's so refreshing to hear the mindset and to hear your thoughts. And for anyone who wants to hear your thoughts on a more regular basis as well, check out Kinney vs. the Hippie podcast, available on iTunes as well. You truly are a joy to talk to, and you're a joy when you're, as much as you're saying you try to get away from Facebook and stuff, it's great when you're going through your timeline and you see something you put up, because you are very inspiring. And you may have broke our hearts beating Reese when you beat him, but from getting to chat to you twice now here and stuff, you know, it's someone, we do follow your career, and like I was jumping around watching your fight when you fought Mario, and you just have that, it seems to me, anyone who meets you or speaks to you is going to get that same feeling I have now when I see a fight, or when I see it. People are just going to attach to you, and we wish you the best in the future, I should say. And hopefully we will see you in Dublin. We might even have a cheeky pint. And September back in there. Huh?
I don't drink beer, but I'll definitely share some organic treats with you, man.
Pint of water.
Pint of water. Well, listen, again, thanks Tim for taking the time to come on and talk to us here. And we look forward to seeing you back in there, my man.
Thank you for having me. Take care, guys.
Cheers. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
And again, once again, he's going to leave you. If you're listening to this again, that guy's just inspired, isn't he?
Yeah, big time.
Insane. So going from the biggest show in Europe with BAMMA, we are going to the biggest show regionally. Yeah, on this island. Clanmores. Yeah. We're going to be joined by one of the man. He's a big listener to the show.
Yeah.
He's a big fan of the show.
He'll be disappointed that Carl's not here.
Yeah, he will be. What do you call him? His spirit animal. So I've watched Phil fight. I've commentated with Phil's fights. Commentated on his fights, and now I commentate with Phil. We are the Rogan and Goldie.
Which one are you?
Of Clanmore. I'm clearly Goldie. I was Goldie the last time, but anyway, we'll get into that. So we're gonna hit up Phil Campbell now. This is one of the coolest guys in MMA. He's such a nice guy. Trains out of IFS, heavily involved with Clanmores, obviously. So Clanmores goes down in just a couple of weeks. So we're gonna get Phil on now to have a chat about it. So welcome back to obviously Fight Talk, and we are joined now by fighter, commentator, pad man. What don't you do with IFS, Phil?
Just all round good guy, like. I keep myself busy.
I didn't say good guy. I didn't mention that once.
Damn.
So, you're on, obviously, I've called you. That's what I built up before we called you. I said, I've called you fighting, I've watched you fight, and now we call fights together. Look, 28's going down. It's a new venue for Clanmores 28.
Yeah, it's at the Girdwood Centre, which is a bigger venue. Because as sort of the shows have progressed, more people are wanting to go, tickets are selling out, so need a bigger venue. And it also gives the fighters an opportunity to fight on an even bigger stage, get more coverage, more people are seeing them, and lead to bigger opportunities for them in the future. It's
Clanmores is, I remember when I first got the phone call for Clanmores, I remember going, oh my fucking God, I got Clanmores, I got Clanmores. Because it's, for me, it's promotional wise as in Ireland, it's the biggest show.
Yeah, I'd say so. It's the premier organisation, and that's illustrated by the fact you've got guys from the north fighting on it, guys from the south, England, Scotland, further afield. We for the main event, Clanmores 27, we had Chris Ray from France coming over.
Yeah.
So something like that sort of illustrates just what a big show it is and how much people really want to fight on it,
Yeah. No, it is. It certainly is one of the premier organisations. Smooth run show. But the new venue is something that it's the odd time you go to Belfast Hall. There's been the odd show there. Ulster Hall. Same thing, no? And then it's always in the Ramadas, which is now called the Crown Plaza. But yeah, we're moving this time. So interesting. I'll have to set the sat nav to a different location. Bit disappointing.
You don't drive.
Just when I figured out, I always get lost going up to Belfast. We always go off one roundabout too early and we get lost. But we're not. We're back there. So let's talk about the card. There's some standout fights for me. I'm interested as well. As we alluded to him. Did we call him Hector Lombard when we were calling the fights?
Is that Callum Liston?
Yeah.
He's a scary dude.
Yeah, he's like a bigger Hector Lombard. He fights out of Chris Field's SBG Swords.
SBG Swords, yeah. He's a scary guy. He's just a stone cold killer. He went in and he was just methodical from start to finish. He was just a really sound technical fighter. So he's fighting Paddy Henderson out of FAI up north. So that's two guys. I think they're both 1-0, so that's going to be a really interesting scrap.
Yeah, again, I was blown away by him, and we were saying, and I remember saying to Chris Fields in the cage, that, holy shit!
I remember because the first time I seen you when you come back, he goes, "I want to see Chris Fields, guy."
Yeah, because I literally said, "What the fuck?" He said, "Man, I'm not fucking breeding pussies or something along that line." But yeah, that's a fight that stands out for me. The co-main event of the evening is for the featherweight title. You've got Alex Badui from Kokoro taking on Ross McCordison. I'm not saying Ross hasn't fought in a while.
Ross hasn't fought. I think his last fight was at the IMAFs.
Yeah.
Last summer, and he medalled there. But this is actually a rematch of a fight that happened in March 2016. Competed at bantamweight.
Yeah.
Now we know Alex Badui. He's our current Clanmores flyweight champion.
Yeah.
So we watched his fight on the last Clanmores. He beat Daniel Thompson by first round armbar.
Yeah.
So he's stepping up to 2 weight divisions now to fight Ross McCordison. And Ross McCordison, you've got a guy. You're talking. I think this might be his 20th fight. If not, he's not far off it. So the guy's got a wealth of experience. And as I say, Alex is going to want to get that fight back, and Ross is going to want to cement his position as one of the best amateur fighters in the UK.
Big fight. Badu he's flashy. He's no matter when it goes to the ground, he's always attacking. He's always looking for the submission, and sometimes he leaves himself vulnerable when he does that. But he's a real crowd favourite. As much as he's travelling up from Coke and Dublin, I honestly the Belfast crowd always get excited when Badu comes in because they always know they're going to see, be it if he's on the end of a win or the end of a loss, they're always going to see a great fight. Main event. Let's talk about the main event. We've got the ISKA heavyweight British title. We got I'm gonna murder the name, so I'm gonna try it. We got Jules Verdis.
That's fair enough. I'd go with that. Aye.
Yeah, the commentator and the announcer.
I know. Yeah, struggling.
Yeah, and Scott Trelford. This is a big one. Talk us through this one.
Yeah. Julius Burtis, I don't think he's fought in a while, but he trains out of Confliction MMA under the Western Brothers. So you know he's going to be good on the ground. He's going to know what he's up to there. He's a big, strong, muscular, powerful guy, but it's not a bodybuilding competition. You know, how many times have you seen a guy come in, rip the bits, fights maybe a smaller guy and gets caught? Scott the Bear Trelford, he's kind of a bit of a cult figure up north in MMA. You know, he's not what you would envision your typical MMA fighter to look like, but that is not to detract from the boy's skill set at all. He's a legitimate threat. Trains under Stevie McComb. So Stevie McComb, that's a 50-fight veteran. So he knows what he's at there, and he's a kid that's medalled at the IMAFs. He's fought for titles before. He's not going to be overwhelmed by sort of the event. He's going to go in there and he's going to put on a hell of a fight.
Again, on the broadcast when we're working together, Phil, I don't know where my voice came from in the last time. Do you know what it was? I'm normally your position, if you know what I mean. I was normally the colour guy, but Paul entrusted me with being the lead, and this voice, God only knows where this voice came from. But
I enjoy it. I'm exactly the same because it was my first time commentating, so I was very nervous. So I think as you've seen the fights progress, I think we both got a wee bit more comfortable with our role.
Yeah, I don't know.
Kind of got into it a wee bit more. It was good cracking it.
This voice, I was there going, welcome along to Clan Wars 27 in the beautiful Ramada Plaza. Phil, we have got a great bantamweight. I'm going, where is this voice coming from, man?
Yeah, the first couple of fights, you just see me going, that's right, no, yes, that is big.
Indeed.
We kind of moved in there and we got comfortable, but I think it turned out all right.
It certainly did, and I'm right in saying this falls on a bank holiday, doesn't it? It's the bank holiday Sunday, am I right in saying that?
I want to say yes.
I'm not too sure. What date is it? It's on the 4th, is it?
The 4th, yeah, 4th of June. Is that a bank holiday?
Oh, yeah, I think it's a bank holiday and for us, down south.
Down south, yeah.
It's not going to have a massive impact on the amount of beer that's drank up here, like.
No, not at all. But again, this is like, in a way, we said we come on to talk about Clan Wars and almost promote it a little bit. But Clan Wars, in a way, doesn't need that promotion because it's got its following. But it's one of the shows that when it comes around, the crowd are always packed. There's always a great following for the show up in Belfast. And the fights, the matchmaking. Talk us about, like, because he's the big quiet joint in a way. You might have seen him on BAMMA cornering there last week. Obi-Wan and Gerv as well, and Daniel as well. He's the quiet gentleman in the background. Big Paul Mack. He's puts one good show together.
He absolutely loves the sport. You know, he coaches classes. He puts together unbelievable cards, and as you say, you know, the matchmaking's on point. It's very rare you're going to get a dull fight on Clan Wars. You know, he can tell you minute details about fighters from the amateur to guys that are just on the cusp of going pro, guys that are pro, established pros. But you know, he lives and breathes this sport, and you can really see that with just the attention to detail with the Clan Wars show.
And Clan Wars, of course, is usually, as it is, IFS as well. Talk to us about the gym, Phil. You seem to be growing and growing. Every time a picture goes up, you are like a little army up there.
Yeah, there's just word of mouth is a great thing, and you know, Clan Wars and any show really, it's a great showcase for our guys that are going on. The guys go in well prepared. They fight 100%. They give it everything. Dave Hill is fighting Aidan Devlin on the Clan Wars card. We've seen Aidan Devlin on the last Clan Wars. He beat Chris Logdale at Kokoro. So that's a sleeper fight for me because these are two guys that don't talk a lot of shit, that aren't on Facebook and Twitter calling guys out. And I think as a result of that, they don't necessarily get the push they deserve, or they don't get kind of the recognition they deserve. So that's going to be a hell of a tear up between two sort of quiet men of the sport, but that's going to be fantastic.
What looking ahead for you, Phil? I know you're nursing an injury as well. What's your rehabilitation or time wise? Are you looking to get back in there as well?
Well, I'm on the waiting list for surgery on the knee, so but at the minute I can do little bits of boxing, and I can kind of, I can watch classes, and I can coach guys, and I'm really, feel like I'm really growing into that role as well. I get to corner guys, I get to do things like this, which is really cool. So I get to still keep a hand in the sport, because I absolutely love the sport. Anything to do with the sport, commentating, talking about the sport. If I can sort of do anything to facilitate the growth of the sport and the awareness of the sport, I'm over the moon with that.
That's the big thing about this sport as well. Like a lot of people, listening to this, or listening to any podcast really, like at this level, like we don't get a penny out of this. Yeah. You do it out of love for the passion of the sport, to speak to other people like yourself who are involved in the sport, who do the exact same thing. You don't get money in your pocket from it, or you just do it out of pure passion and pure love. And that's a big thing about MMA. It's grassroots in so many ways here. The sport is evolving, it's getting bigger, and it's growing with the help of Conor McGregor at the highest levels promoting the sport, although potentially his next fight is in boxing. But you get these guys and they're pushing it, and we get to talk about it and meet cool people, and that's where you get to be like you, Phil. Look how cool you are.
Look how cool your shirt is and everything. It's great.
Not a short 30 days to Mexico, motherfucker. I am looking forward to sitting in the commentary booth again and getting a very authentic picture, like that picture that done the rounds of me and you having a big wow moment at the fights. That was not staged. 100% natural, not staged whatsoever.
You convinced me.
The picture, what I thought was brilliant about the picture, when we done that, if people don't know what the picture is, we'll edit it and there's the picture now. Pressure, Rob. But it's basically me and Phil going, as if we're at, something as crazy as happened in the cage, because a lot did, but the cameraman wasn't wide to it when it was happening. So
I'm surprised nobody's photoshopped that.
Yeah,
there's a wealth of stuff you could do inappropriately with that.
First thing you said, the very first thing you said is, "Fuck, we are wide open to Photoshop here. Two of us are gonna have big dicks in our mouth by the morning." Hasn't been done.
If somebody only heard that end of it, they'd be like, "What?
What am I listening to? Is this not an MMA podcast?" Look,
what did they do after Clown Wars?
Look, at the end of the day, Carl Doran's not here. We have to get a little bit of crude into the conversation the odd time. But yeah, Phil, look, listen, thanks a million for taking the time, man, for coming on, and we'll talk to you. We'll talk to you again. Always welcome. Big fan of the show as well, which I like. I like a fan of the show. Yeah. You're our one listener.
Thank you very much. No, I really appreciate it. It's a great show, and you're doing a lot for MMA, so thank you very much.
Cheers, me man. And talk to you soon. See you up there. Man. Take care.
There, guys.
Cheers. And there you go. Pretty cool, man.
Pretty cool, man.
Yeah. So, are we going to do news? We'll do news. No news. No news. There's no news this week, folks. Nothing noteworthy has happened in the world of MMA, apart from Sergio Pettis missed out on competing at UFC 211.
We won't do the news, but what we'll do is quick thoughts. All right. So Sergio Pettis versus Brandon Moreno, main event of UFC Fight Night 114 in Mexico City. Quick thoughts.
Yeah, good fight. Glad to see you got a quick turnaround.
Yeah, me too. I'm really impressed with Brandon Moreno in his last fight. He was amazing. Can't remember who.
It's in Mexico, and I'm going to Mexico.
But he's looking really good. Sergio Pettis is looking really, really good. You're going to Mexico, yeah. Sergio Pettis is looking pretty good in his last couple of fights, so I like it.
Talking about that, check out Duke Rufus with Robin Black. He addresses and talks, so it's well worth listening there.
Norman Park possibly making his final walk to the cage. He's kind of a bit again on the fence on it, but KSW takes place this weekend. KSW 39 Coliseum, big card. Gamrot versus Park is on that card.
I think if Park wins, he stays active.
Yeah, if he loses, possibly might take some time off. I agree with that.
Now that George St. Pierre versus Michael Bisping is off, Dana White has confirmed that St. Pierre will instead fight for the title he never lost upon his return. Speaking to TSN, the UFC president said St. Pierre says he will fight whoever the 170-pound champion is when he comes back. No arguments. He never lost a belt.
Well, no arguments, but I'm not going to believe...
Makes more sense than
it makes more sense, but I'm not going to believe if GSP is fighting anybody until he fights somebody, because he was supposed to fight Michael Bisping. That's apparently off, even though they both haven't confirmed it themselves. So who knows? But I agree with it though. Yeah.
Cody Garbrandt, will he defend his belt against UFC bantamweight, fellow bantamweight, I should say, TJ Dillashaw? TJ is doubtful and is looking down a vision. The Garbrandt-Dillashaw fight is still on for July 8th, according to Dana White, but TJ is not so sure. I think shooting for that John Jones and Daniel Cormier card at UFC 214 would be amazing, Dillashaw told Submission Radio. Dana already said he doesn't want to make them guys a headliner, so why not put me and Demetrius in front of them? What's bigger in front of those guys than me and Demetrius Johnson?
Yeah, I do like the fight.
I think it's a great fight for DJ.
It's a great fight, yeah.
As in what we were talking about earlier with Brendan, is
possibly
to get DJ pushed to the bigger audience.
Yeah, I do think that it's good for both, because I think Dillashaw, I do think when you have a guy like Demetrius Johnson, who isn't the most popular guy, but you put him against somebody who people think, oh, he might beat him because he's so good, I think that kind of elevates him as well. So I do like the fight, but I think they need to try and make that Cody Garbrandt fight.
It's a fight you want to see, but
that's the fight to make.
I think if it falls away, DJ is going to be
a
great fight.
I like that.
I'd like to see it for DJ as well, though.
Yeah, I like it if TJ can make the weight healthily and can look good at 125. I don't like it if Johnson's gone up.
Yeah. UFC athletes retreat took place, and the fallout from the event was wide-ranging. One of the biggest headlines coming out of the weekend, reported by Ariel Helwani of MMA Fighting, was that UFC lightweight Kajan Johnson spoke out about his dissatisfaction with UFC Reebok deal during a Reebok discussion. According to Helwani, who said it was recorded by many, some cheered and some seemed visibly uncomfortable. In the end, Johnson was escorted out. Other tidbits coming out from the event was Chris Cyborg Justino punching Angelina Magna, and Neil Seary, big Neil Seary, having a crack with Rashad Evans and Artem Lobov and talking about the dole.
You confuse a lot of viewers there. The crack is not crack cocaine. It's
having a laugh. It's the Irish version of just having banter and slagging people.
Yeah, and the dole is
social benefits.
Yeah, exactly.
But Johnson speaking out about Reebok. Is that not the right platform to do it?
I think I don't know exactly what happened. It just says that he was escorted out. That's what Ariel said. Yeah. Was it like what exactly? We need to know what happened. We can't say he was escorted. For me, that sounds like get out of here.
I don't know who it was, because I only seen it briefly coming into work today. But as he was doing it, someone was filming and they turned the camera and going,
yeah. You know? But that's where they should be talking. It's not supposed to be. It's supposed to be a place where they can say their grievances, say what they,
of course.
Exactly.
So now they've shown that if you speak up, we're going to put you out. Quickly, Cyborg hitting the schmack to Magna.
Jesus.
Look, the way I look at it is,
Mangana.
Mangana was talking shit on Twitter about her.
Yeah.
So it's all well and good to be that fucking keyboard warrior sitting here.
She does that quite a bit.
Yeah,
as well.
and typing and saying shit, and then when you come face to face with the fighter, you know, if you get a smack, and then the police are called, whenever, but technically you could cause Cyborg or UFC contract. Is that a bad thing for her? Does she potentially want to go to Bellator? Bigger money, bigger fights, more promotion. If you listen to, I recommend listening to,
not bigger fights.
Well, bigger paydays for her. If you look at,
maybe not.
Well, did you not hear? Did you watch her with Brendan Schaub's Big Brown Breakdown?
No, didn't see.
Watch it, and to you listeners, watch it too. Watch Brendan Schaub with Cyborg. Cyborg is on with her boyfriend. Excuse me, his name is gone from my head right now. But it's a really insightful interview, and it feels for how much she's not getting pushed by the UFC, and how much they're sort of screwing her over. And I felt real fucking hell, they're really bullying her. And then this comes out where she smacks you one, but no, she still she went, I will not be a bully. I will not be bullied, and I am not a bully.
Yeah.
End of the day, these are fighters. If you can't take a hit from a fighter, that's it.
We're done.
So obviously, Fight Talk 68, little rushed. We apologise if it seems that way. We'd like to thank our guests for coming on. Brendan Dorman, thank you, sir, again for coming on with us. Tim Barnett, you're an absolute gent and an inspiration to any young fighter. Also, Phil Campbell talking on about Clan Wars there, what a gent, and the return of Johnny Jitzu. We'd like to obviously give a shout out to MMA Mix. They're obviously good because they're with obviously Fight Talk. No t-shirts, Rob, we're in a rush. And Fight Star Ireland for all your fighters' needs under one roof. This has been 68. He's been Palin. I've been O'Keefe. Check out, we're going to do something special with Brendan, a video with Brendan Dorman as well, so check that out.
Yeah, be released soon.
Peace!